Hi everyone, welcome and Ave. This is going to be a first impressions of a tarot deck I just received Friday. So, yes, I've looked through it, I shuffled it, I even have a couple cards that I pulled today away on my personal altar. But primarily the whole deck's here. It's just to give you an impression. It's not a full walkthrough by any means. It's just the first impressions of what I have of it to show you, to put it out there. I haven't done one of these in a bit, so why the hell not? So I've added to my stencil collection. My decks are more darkly inclined, darker aesthetic. I do gravitate towards that. I have a variety of those, but I do have others. I do appreciate decks, but I'm more into the occult, esoteric, and magical path. And I am, after all, a left hand path practitioner. So to me, I guess all these things interlinked. So that leads me up to the deck I'm presenting today. We're just showing off. Why not? Show and tell is always a fun thing, right? Being voyeurs of tarot decks and oracle decks and magical items. That's one of my favorite things to partake in. So, with that being said, this deck is called The Lust of Lilith. YouTube may not like me for nudity. Oh well, it looks like woodcuts, not as if it's human parts like some of my other decks. So, this. This deck is by Travis McHenry from Bloodstone Studios. You can check it out. It's an indie deck. It's actually rather affordable for an indie deck. It comes in this nice two-part box, and you can read the back if you want to pause and read that for yourself if you're interested. And so, yes, nice two-part box. Deck is well made. I do have two of his other decks. I have the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, which I have a hard time connecting with. It's a beautiful deck though, and it is a combination of angels and demons and a keyword for each, but I have a bit of a hard time. But I like it in my collection, and perhaps when the time's right, maybe I will connect or find its purpose in my magical tools and pathworking. But I also have I don't always remember the name of the deck. I haven't truly worked with it in depth since I got it. I did use it a little bit, but I believe it's the Mystics, Madmen, and something or other. Murderers, I don't know, something along those lines. Of people like Elizabeth Bathory, Nostradamus, for example. Other characters, whether they were good people or bad people or mainly in between, of influences and aspects and archetypes in human history. Um, Quite interesting. And I do plan on working with that at some point this year, as I'm trying to work with decks that I truly don't work with consistently and building a connection and see how they resonate, and perhaps maybe start letting them go. I've not done that with my decks, but that may be something. We'll see how things go. So the deck itself, the guidebook, is nice. You can see it's not 100% like a little white book. It's well made, as you can see. Pages. And it has a nice little write-up, if you can take a look. Just an example to open that up. So it actually has a write-up, not just what the card actually means. So this is obviously a full Lilith-based deck. Um, so, yes. So if you're not into Lilith or her mythos, her experiences, or the part she plays in deity or deiv, uh, working with deities in the deific path or magic or pantheon, etc., or her place. She has different voices to people. She has different archetype and epithets to everyone. Everyone who works with her or knows her or acknowledges her experiences her in a different way. She presents herself that way. Now, I truly have not fully connected with her. I have ongoing in a very not fully consistent way, but some. She's come to me in different ways over the past couple years. This month, at least at the now, which is a foreseeable future of March, I'm working with her for the aspect of envy, which you can check the video out for the Witch's Black Line of myself. I have week one up for MB. I chose of the subversion of seven deadly sins. So yes, if you want to check that out, that would be great. If not, that's fine too. So basically, this deck, just to show it, is, and I'm going to be using this deck. That's why I mentioned it for MB. Green with MB. That type of thing. So hey, appropriate, right? Plus it's black and green, like my favorite bands, logo and energy of type O negative. So yes, if you watch any of my previous videos, you'll know I love that band and Peter Steele. Rest in peace, Peter. But yes, so this deck is gorgeous. Again, look at that green. I just opted for this version. There is a one that's green, but with colorized paintings of the versions. I went for this because it feels more ancient, like Lilith feels to me, and her various incarnations and how she's presented herself throughout time and history and magic. So, and how she presents herself to others and already has for myself. And I'm certain as I connect more and more with her and her various aspects as the woman I am and in my magical path and my humanity, I can connect with hers and she will present itself. That's how you build a mutually reverent, respectful relationship with deity and spirits. I approach them a bit differently than others, but with that aspects in mind. So to look at this, the cardstock's nice. It's not too thick. I like thicker cardstock to be honest, but it's not flimsy. You see it bends. I am not a riffle shuffler. That's one of my pet peeves. To each their own, and that's mine. Oh well. And so with that being said, this is gorgeous. So I'm going to show a few of the cards. Again, it looks like an ancient woodcut to me, so it looks something from medieval creation versus more so modern. But I like that stuff. I find it in the occult and the campiness. That's what resonates with me. And something may resonate with you differently. Otherwise, still, thanks for being here. So, that feel is very nice. So, the quality of this deck is amazing. And out of the three so far, I know of this deck is going to be more of a working. I've already feel her. Once I saw her amid stalking her and observing it as he's posted stuff, and then I saw it and I jumped on it. There was no second thoughts, no hesitation. So here, this is her mythos, her history. There's quite blurbs there in the guidebook. So if you're working with Lilith, you have worked with Lilith, you've experienced her, you're interested in that, you've dipped your toes in it, anyway, or you're just a collector and you like darker aesthetic like myself, this is a deck for you or maybe for you. It's all up to discernment. So I'm just going to show you some of the cards. Again, I give this deck out of a 10 for my first impressions. I actually give it a 9 out of 10. So that ranks pretty high with me. And that's first impressions and just working with her in a couple of days of connecting with her, interviewing her, and starting to use her today for my past working with MB and other things that Lilith seeming to present herself with. Doesn't this feel older than the current, present? Does this feel something more this? It has a lot of Solomon in it. Now, obviously I work with Goetic on demons and stuff, but I don't work with it the way of Solomon. I do find that some of that very oppressive. I'm not big into full ceremonial magic. I create my own path and what feels right to me through discernment, lessons experience, what works, what may not work, mistakes, but realism. But overall, this is a really Lilith-centric deck. This is her and her experiences, her embodiment, the archetypes that she has. And her story and her creation, what she creates, the fear that she creates, because she is, after all, an a aspect of the deep, dark feminine, the shadow, but not necessarily the shadow. The things that is fear, but also lust, truth. That's also it. And that strength in what one creates and what can be as an outlier, a demoness, so to say, if you look at her that way, or you look at her as aspects of the Garden of Eden. Either way, she is ascended and stands strong in her queenship. This deck shuffles very smoothly too. Does not stick together, so that's nice. So it is truly a work of art, a truly work of creation. And you can tell that he is. I know he's a practitioner. You can check the site Bloodstone Studios. You'll see he is a practitioner of sorts. And you can see that obviously he connects with her and has experienced her. That's what I like, is when you can tell that it's something created through experience, through gnosis, through thought and feeling, and true artistic value. Not something that is fully. AI has its presence, its value, and obviously part of what's going to continue to happen, but it shouldn't rule everything. It takes out the humanity, the creation, and also the gnosis of spirit, or these mass-produced decks that keep being pumped out and pumped out. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. A lot of them do not hold any value for me. It's just being phoned in decks. I like something that makes me feel, makes me contemplate, makes me use my logic and discern, but also helps me connect to the beyond, but also bring it into the everyday experience. That's my purpose of magic and sorcery, marrying both the magic and the mundane, as they are one and the same for myself, and a personal evolution. And to continue to be a better version of myself, for myself and those that truly matter for this life experience, but to honor what I hold within my soul. So again, if you work with Lilith, you have worked with her, you want to work with her, this is a great deck. If you are a collector, like I said, this is a great deck to have. If you are into darker inclined things like myself or aesthetic, there's nothing wrong in that, no shame. Embrace your truth and your autonomy. But follow your inclinations. This price point is great for this indie deck. This is well made and well created. There's her voice, her magic, and her presentment in this. It may teach you a thing or two. I know it's going to teach me several things. It also may help you to connect and channel like I do, because I channel with my deities and my spirits. I truly do my best to be respectful, reverent, but approach them as my own divinity and my own spark. Not to be submissive, like how Lilith is not submissive, but to approach them with equality and respect and build a relationship just like I would like with others. So with that being said, I'll show maybe one or two more. So you get an idea. I didn't flip through the whole deck, but you get an idea that my first impressions for this deck is a 9 out of 10. No regrets and no coming back, but she will be something I highly recommend. And I already do. And that's in a couple days. So, hey, that is something to being said. So, with that, thanks for watching and stay strange.